In today's video, we will investigate courtroom moments of models and people working in that industry. Behind the beautiful faces, sometimes you find a dark story that was the beginning of a horrible crime. In the first case, we investigate Jeremy Meeks. His mugshot the police released on Facebook was declared as one of the hottest faces. In 2014, Jeremy Meeks became famous when his police photo got widely shared online, earning him the nickname the Blue-Eyed Bandit.
It was actually the Stockton Police Department. They posted all of our mugshots on their Facebook page and a couple of the guns so they can try to show the progress they've made on the gun violence. And that's where my mugshot went viral from.
Even though he had a troubled past being in and out of jail, he managed to change his life for the better. Now he's a model for top fashion brands walking on runways around the world. Let's look closer into what crimes he committed before his fame. When he was 18, he was accused of robbing someone and hurting a 16-year-old boy very badly. Jeremy decided to make a deal with the authorities and as a result was told to spend 2 years in a California prison, but things didn't go as planned. Instead of 2 years, he ended up spending 9 years behind bars. Then in June 2014, Jeremy found himself in trouble again. This time he was caught with a gun and didn't cooperate with the police when they tried to arrest him. But it was this arrest that made Jeremy famous. The police posted his picture on Facebook and suddenly everyone knew who he was. Jeremy went to jail again, but he didn't stay there for long. He was released from Mendota Federal Correctional Institution in March 2016. Since Jeremy got out of jail, he's been living a really fancy life. A famous modeling agency signed him up as soon as he left jail because his mugshot became so popular. Instead of doing crime, he became a successful model and worked for really big fashion companies. Jeremy has about $4 million in net worth now. Also, he lives now in a super fancy mansion and drives sports cars that cost more than $125,000. He's going to be soon in a movie called Dogman, which the New York rapper DMX was working on before he died in April 2021. Dogman is a cool action movie written and directed by Anthony Simmons. It also stars Sean Blakemore, Gus J. Alex, and Tara Reid. They're using CGI to finish DMX part in the movie. In 2017, Jeremy Meeks told everyone about his girlfriend Chloe Green. Even though a magazine said Jeremy was still married to his wife, Melissa, he asked for a divorce in October 2017. Jeremy and Chloe had a baby together in May 2018. In 2021, Jeremy said in an interview that his kids keep him going. My kids changed my whole life, as wild as it was. My kids slow me down. Now they are my motivation, they are my fuel to what I do, why I do it, he said. What are your thoughts of this story of Jeremy Meeks? Do you know him from his famous shots from the police that was at the time released? Comment it down below. Let's go on with the next case of Cameron Herron. In 2018, Cameron Herron, the good-looking American and part-time model who had broken the law before, became famous for crashing his white car. This crash killed a mother and her baby. Cameron, who was only 18 at the time, was driving the car that caused the accident. Before this sad incident, Cameron was finishing high school and thinking about going to college nearby. But everything changed when he got a 24-year prison sentence for causing death while driving recklessly and racing illegally. It was a big consequence for his love of driving fast. Let's find out the details of the day the racing crash occurred. In May 2018 in Tampa, the police caught Cameron Herron, his brother Tristan, and their friend John. They were racing each other on the road when they caused an accident that killed Jessica, a 24-year-old mom from Ohio, and her 21-month-old daughter Lilia. The crash happened just before noon. Jessica was crossing the street legally, pushing Lilia's stroller, when Cameron's black 2018 Ford Mustang hit them. Cameron was driving his car at 102 miles per hour, way faster than the speed limit. Tristan was with him as a passenger. They were racing against John's gold Nissan. The injured were taken to Tampa General Hospital. Jessica died there, and Lilia died the next day from her serious injuries. Tampa lawyer John, who was helping Cameron, said, "Right now I can tell you that there was no alcohol or drugs, and the car stopped right away when the accident happened." Before the crash, the Herron brothers and John were heading to LA Fitness for a workout, while Jessica and her daughter Lilia were walking back home after enjoying a sunny morning stroll. In 2021, Judge Christopher Nash decided that Cameron Herron would spend 24 years in jail. And following, we'll listen to the judge's statement in court.
So on count 1, vehicular homicide, the court's going to adjudicate the defendant guilty, sentence him to 9 years in Florida State Prison. On count 2, same charge, the court will adjudicate the defendant guilty, sentence him to 15 years Florida State Prison, and that'll run consecutive to count 1 for a total of 24 years Florida State Prison.
The judge said that Cameron had a record of driving way too fast, which influenced his choice of punishment. At the same time, Tristan was also in trouble. He could have been sent to jail for a year for racing on the streets, but the prosecutors decided not to pursue this case in May 2021. What do you think of this case? Did he deserve the sentence? Now we see Robert Regan, who used to be a model for Hugo Boss, and got sent to prison for the rest of his life because he killed his girlfriend from a reality TV show. The former supermodel Robert has been given a life sentence for killing his girlfriend, Loredana Nasky, who was a famous TV attorney. The crime happened in Redondo Beach in 2015. Los Angeles County prosecutors mentioned that Regan might be able to ask for parole after being in prison for 16 years. During the court hearing, Regan couldn't hold back his tears when he was found guilty of stabbing Loredana. People think that Regan killed Nasky because they were about to split up. They say he didn't want a tough fight over their son Rocco, who was 5. Alison Ostrovsky, a prosecutor in Los Angeles County, said Regan had already been through a pricey divorce with his first wife. He didn't want to go through that again. In the trial, Ostrovsky talked about how Regan hurt Nasky badly with a knife, and her injuries were really bad. She had a big cut on her belly about 7 inches long. Nasky's dad was really sad in court. He said his daughter's death broke the family, and they'd never be the same again. He said everything changed suddenly when she was taken away from them. They think Regan hurt Nasky at about 3 AM on July 22nd, and then he called for help about 5 hours later. During that time, he went to his sister's house in San Diego to get his son and took a shower. They found blood in the shower. Regan's lawyer said he was only defending himself when he hurt Nasky in their home in California. According to court papers, cops said Regan tried to stop her while she attacked him with a dangerous weapon. During the fight, she got seriously hurt and sadly it ended fatally. A close friend named Todd Bernstein, who was a real estate broker, told the news that Regan is gentle and was scared of Loredana, which surprised him a lot. She was also a tactical fighter, she trained, she kickboxed. She used to be a cop. Yes, they were in love, but he was afraid of her. He told me as much. Regan was found guilty of second-degree murder because an autopsy report showed that Nasky had been stabbed multiple times between her breast and belly button. Nasky used to work as a cop in Los Angeles before she became an actress. She became known for a role in the TV series Loredana, where she played a lawyer in Redondo Beach. Regan had previously worked on fancy ad campaigns for big brands like Armani, Ralph Lauren, and Calvin Klein during the 1980s. Do you think it was intentionally done by Robert, or was it an accident? We all know the big times of the Playboy girls and Hugh Hefner in his Playboy mansion that went all around the world with his series. Kelsey, who used to pose for Playboy magazines, had admitted to causing the death of a 71-year-old doctor in Las Vegas. Kelsey Turner, 29, was accused of beating Thomas Burkhardt to death. He was a psychiatrist from Salinas, California. Police say he was helping her with her bills. Turner was arrested in April 2019 and was charged with murder according to court papers. Turner says she didn't do it, but she admitted to being guilty of second-degree murder. According to the Las Vegas police, Burkhardt came from California to Las Vegas, where Turner was living, to break up with her after being together for 2 years. During the relationship, he used to give her money, including paying her rent. According to the news, Burkhardt was discovered dead inside an old Mercedes-Benz that was left alone. The police found him in the trunk. They said he had been hurt badly on his head. It happened near Lake Mead on a lonely road in the desert. Burkhardt's girlfriend, who had been with him for a long time, informed the police when he went missing. Burkhardt's girlfriend Judy Erb thought that Turner might have something to do with it. She said that her boyfriend had given Turner more than $300,000 in the last 2 years. Although Erb hasn't met Turner in person, she mentioned that Burkhardt had known her for 2 years. He was always helping people, Erb said. Anybody with a sad story, you know? Some people took advantage of that. Let's hear her sentencing for this crime.
Ms. Turner, in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, you're hereby judged guilty of second-degree murder, felony. I'm going to impose the $25 administrative assessment fee, the $3 DNA collection fee, $150 DNA fee, as well as the test to determine genetic markers. You're hereby sentenced to 10 to 25 years in the Nevada Department of Corrections.
In the following story, a young woman named Abigail White, who works as a model on OnlyFans, has been sent to prison for the rest of her life. She murdered her ex-boyfriend Bradley Lewis by stabbing him in the heart with a kitchen knife. Abigail, who was 24 years old, and Bradley, who was 22, used to live together in Kingswood near Bristol. But one day, Bradley decided to break up with Abigail. This made her very upset. At first, when the police asked her about it, she said she didn't do it. But later, she confessed that she did stab him. However, she said she didn't mean to kill him. Now, Abigail is going to spend at least 18 years in prison before she can ask to leave. She earned more than £50,000 in a year by posting content on the OnlyFans. She claimed that Bradley was controlling about the money she made from it. Abigail made a lot of money in 1 year by sharing content on OnlyFans. This website lets people buy and sell different kinds of content. The court learned that she had stabbed him in the arm once. Another time he called a friend for help, saying, "Sophie, help me. She's trying to kill me, she's trying to stab me. She keeps hurting me." After Mr. Lewis died, docs examined his body. They found one deep wound at least 7 centimeters deep in his chest. This wound went into his heart and caused his death. On the day of the attack, Mr. Lewis told White in a park that he didn't want to be with her anymore. Later they met some friends in a pub. White started to fight with some other people then. During the court session, it was said that White drank a whole bottle of wine and other drinks. She also had a bit of cocaine before she poured her drink on a man in the pub. After leaving the pub, Mr. Lewis and White went together home. Shortly after they got there, she stabbed him. A neighbor called the police when she heard White screaming. When she went inside the house, she discovered Mr. Lewis on the kitchen floor. White confessed in court that she had stabbed him. She explained that she didn't mean to seriously harm him, but only wanted to startle and frighten him with the knife. She described how they were arguing that he was pushing her into the hallway. Then she went to the kitchen and saw the knife on the counter. She picked it up and returned to where Brad was. She approached him with the intention of shocking and scaring him, but accidentally ended up stabbing him. She admitted to the jurors that she was angry and upset when she grabbed the knife, but she never intended to injure or kill him. It is possible that she will serve less time if she shows good behavior, but her jail time can also extend if the board doesn't think it's safe to release her. We see now in the following case a woman with a career modeling and real estate in Los Angeles died. In Los Angeles, a 31-year-old model and real estate agent was brutally beaten, tied up and put into her own refrigerator. A man from Minnesota was arrested and accused of torturing and killing her. On September 12, 2023, police found Melissa Mooney's body in her downtown apartment. They were checking on her welfare because her family hadn't heard from her. Her sister talked in an interview about the character of Melissa.
Sister wouldn't harm a fly. Like, she'll run from a fly before she harms it. She just was so sweet. Like, I don't understand, you know.
Magnus Humphrey, who was 41 years old, got arrested in Minneapolis on November 3rd. The LAPD reported that it was because of a federal warrant unrelated to the arrest. Later he was taken to LA and is now in custody without bail. During the arraignment, Humphrey pleaded not guilty. Ms. Mooney opened her home to this individual with trust, but was repaid with torture and murder, Los Angeles District Attorney Gaskin said. When detectives from the Los Angeles Police Department went to Mooney's apartment, they discovered food on her kitchen counters. They also noticed blood under the refrigerator, according to the details provided by the homicide investigator in the autopsy report. Inside the fridge, Mooney's body was found. Her wrists and ankles were tied together behind her back using electrical cords and clothes, as stated by the medical examiner. Mooney's sister said that when she went into Mooney's apartment, she noticed her laptop and other things were gone. Someone even tried to sell Mooney's phone, but they didn't know who. Police haven't said if they found any proof of stealing. Pauline also shared that her sister was 2 months pregnant. This detail wasn't in the autopsy report or confirmed by the authorities. If the court finds him guilty, he could be sentenced to spend the rest of his life in prison without any chance of being released on parole. What would you give him in this case? Comment it down below. A lot of celebrities in the world need protection with bodyguards. So these bodyguards are well trained, and you should think that these individuals have good morals and want to protect and help people. In this case, Cyril Lamar, who used to be a policeman bodyguard, is 51 years old. He was given the punishment of death for killing Mongolian model Altan Tuya in 2006. Now he has been let go from an immigration detention place in Australia. This news has been confirmed by both Malaysia's Inspector General of Police and Cyril's lawyer, William Livingston. Mr. Livingston talked about how Cyril got released with many others because of a High Court choice on November 8. However, they couldn't send him back to Malaysia. Cyril used to be a bodyguard for Malaysia's past Prime Minister, Najib Razak. Since Australia said no to his request in 2019, he had to stay in detention center. Mr. Livingston explained that his client is in danger of being hanged in Malaysia because he was found guilty of murder. He also mentioned that the Australian government cannot send his client Cyril back to Malaysia because of non-refoulement rules, which means they can send him to a place where he might face harm or death. This is until Malaysia stops using the death penalty. In 2006, the tragic event happened to Altan Tuya. She was only 28 years old when she was shot and her body was blown up with explosive in a horrifying murder. Two men, Cyril and Azila, who were both commanders and part of the Prime Minister's security team, were responsible for this terrible act. They were found guilty of killing her and faced the consequences. The Prime Minister has always said he had nothing to do with her death. Azila is now awaiting his punishment on death row. Some community organizations believe that Ms. Altan Tuya's death happened because of her job as a translator. He used to advise the minister and was involved in Malaysia's buying 2 submarines from a French company called DCNS in 2002, which was surrounded by scandal. In a special talk with The Guardian Australia, Cyril explained that he was told to do the killing. Cyril explained that he was told to do the killing but didn't say who told him to do it. He also said he was only involved in taking Ms. Altan Tuya and not in the murder. In following horrible case, former Playboy model was found dead after a dispute over paying drugs. Jonathan Wesley Harris, who was 30 years old, got arrested for it. This happened about a week after the police discovered the body of Christina Carlin Kraft. She was 36 years old and lived in a condo. Investigators discovered that Harris had encountered Kraft in Center City. They both took a lift ride back to Ardmore in the early morning. An autopsy showed that Kraft had a broken nose and died from strangulation. This indicated that something had been wrapped around her neck and intentionally used to end her life. Harris got arrested because the police got tips from Kraft's ex-boyfriend and someone else. Security cameras caught Kraft meeting Harry. They both took a lift and the ride-sharing records proved it. Harris had just gotten out of prison about a month before the murder. Kraft used to be a model and had pictures in Playboy magazine. The defense tried to say that Harris wasn't thinking clearly when the crime happened. They said he was using drugs, they affected his mind and didn't realize his actions. But the jury still decided Harris was responsible for the first-degree murder, having a weapon during the crime and strangling Kraft to death. Do you think the criminals in today's courtroom moments got what they deserve? If you know cold cases that could be featured on the channel, please write it in the comments section. And take a second to write your thoughts down below. Please subscribe to our channel and check out one of these videos here. See you in our next video. Take care.